What's up? Welcome back to another edition of Chat It Up Sports. Yes, I am Greg Larnard, and yes, I'm actually on an episode. I still actually host this podcast. I still am part of the podcast. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I've gotten an opportunity to be on the show with you here. Really excited to be back with the boys tonight. We got a little bit of a skeleton crew. We've got one man who's out in Costa Rica hanging out with the family, doing his thing, and Chase Green. Malcolm Harris, we have no idea where he is, but I will introduce the rest of the crew. We've got some love-hate for you from the weekend in sports, baseball, basketball, football, all of the goodness when it comes to sports. Unfortunately, the Tennessee Vols, as the boys talked about on Saturday in the nightcap, chatted up nightcap show, unfortunately fell to Oklahoma, but Georgia continues to roll on and do their thing. We're going to get into all of that. Plus, the NFL lows for Drew and I. Yes, again, joining us in studio back in Chattanooga, our good friend Drew Rogers hanging out with us in studio. What's up, Drew?
Nothing much, dude. We are coming off my first rough weekend in college football in a while. And of course, the NFL woes, as you mentioned, just kept going. But we're feeling good. We're feeling a little bit more positive now that Michael Penix is back at the helm. And we're just looking to survive and advance on the Commodore front. So I mean, it was a great weekend in sports. You really can't complain when you get the college football weekend that was delivered. And of course, I actually tuned into a baseball game. So how often does that happen?
You watched Game 7.
I did. Yep. My buddy texted me. He was like, "You have to watch this game. You have to stop what you're doing. You need to watch." It's like, you need to put this on a monitor. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So I watched it, and it was definitely worth it. It was awesome. And that's kind of I get it, man. I get why people fall in love with baseball. Me personally, I don't have the temperament anymore not temperament. I don't have the time anymore to devote to it. But I mean, it can deliver just some all-time crowd pops, let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh, it can. But the thing is, when it's bad, it can be just like very drainingly slow or painfully slow, because it's just like, all right, we're down 8, and we got to go pitch by pitch by pitch. But when it happens the way it did in the World Series in Game 7, and we'll talk a little bit about that potentially in our love hate, it's just, I mean, it was just pure cinema, and it was just a great watch. I was out at Buffalo Wild Wings out in Albertville, Alabama, taking in that game, the Vols game against Oklahoma and all that. But the man behind the camera, pushing the buttons and making sure that we look and sound very, very good as always, our man Joseph Guthrie. What's up, Jay?
What up, dude? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good despite the rough NFL weekend.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I wasn't like actively like sitting and watching that. Like I planned to do nothing and watch all football on Sunday because, as I mentioned, I was out in Albertville, Alabama, recruiting and scouting and all that stuff for the softball team. So I did have it up on the phone. We watched it. We watched the painful ending, and then we were able to just kind of put it away and move on. So I had something else to do, so that kind of took my attention away from all that negativity.
Good. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Welcome back. Officially, welcome back.
Sure.
I text the boys a little bit throughout the day, kind of putting together a show plan, because with Chase being on vacation, it feels like our CEOs kind of taking a little bit of a break. And I was like, all right, boys, here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, of course.
He actually won't be here for the next 2 weeks.
That's what he mentioned. Something.
Yeah, he won't be here for 4 shows. It'll be.
Well, that's wild.
Yeah, I know. It'll be us 3 and Malcolm, if he ever wherever he's at. Who knows?
I know.
Greg mentioned. I don't know.
The mysterious Malcolm, just out and about.
Real.
He's in Chattanooga somewhere.
I'm sure Chase will be. Possibly. Maybe. No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
I'm sure Chase will be very pumped to get back, because we're not going to talk about it in depth, but college basketball is officially back. I know at the night of us recording this, sorry, that's Monday, November 3rd, college basketball is officially back. I know some people are very hyped about that. I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but I'm coming around, starting to get more into the sport, more into college basketball. So I know Chase will be very excited about that, because he's a big college basketball guy. And then we'll also have like rivalry weekend pretty much coming up.
Yeah.
So it'll be loaded when he gets back for the show. So, but anyways, gentlemen, as we start off a lot of our Monday shows, it's time for love hate.
It is.
Does anybody want to go first? Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead. Take the reins.
I'll take it first. We were talking about. I'll start with the love, because, as Drew sort of mentioned, it's hard to not be romantic about baseball sometimes. And I'll be honest, I've been watching baseball for obviously a very, very long time. I'm a huge baseball guy. That may have been in its totality it has to be one of the best World Series of my lifetime, bar none. The ebbs and the flows, the 18 inning incredible game that wouldn't end, and then it all sort of culminates with that Game 7 matchup with Max Scherzer on one side, Shohei on the other, the home team of a nation basically in all of Canada pulling for one team, and then let's be honest, I would say most of America also probably pulling for Canada and the Toronto Blue Jays as well, outside of those spattering of Dodger fans, LA and other places, just because it seems like the Dodgers have sort of been the Yankees of the 90s. If they're not winning, they're always in the mix. They're dominating the National League, and being a Mets fan, it's very disheartening to me, unfortunately, to see that they beat out my Mets last year to win a World Series. It was the first time that we had seen a team win back-to-back World Series since the year 2000, again, in which my Mets lost to the Yankees in 2000, and they had a back-to-back championship before losing to the Diamondbacks the following year. But that's nevertheless, that's not the case, and that's not the point of this. That game was just incredibly epic. The Blue Jays jump out on top. Obviously, the big home run off of Shohei. They get a big lead. The Dodgers are sort of hanging around, chipping away. The Blue Jays get an insurance run to make it 4-1. And then just the most unlikely of heroes in Miguel Rojas in the ninth inning off of Hoffman was incredible. Out on his front foot, stayed through the ball beautifully and gave it enough juice just to get it out of the ballpark. And again, with all of the power in that Dodgers lineup, it was Miguel freaking Rojas was the guy that beat you for the Toronto Blue Jays. Just an absolute dagger in that ninth inning to get the game tied. And then obviously we go to extra innings. Both teams have opportunities. Both teams squander opportunities. Again, you're on the edge of your seat. And at that point, yes, I was pulling for the Blue Jays. But at that point, I felt like as a baseball fan and had really no dog in this fight, I felt like I had already won because I just knew that some way, somehow, this was going to be just an epic finish. You get the home run from Will Smith, and then the Blue Jays come right back, get Vladdy with a leadoff double, and give an opportunity to potentially tie the game. They don't do it. And even though I was rooting for the Blue Jays, you feel good for a guy like Clayton Kershaw, who has spent his entire career in this day and age where money is king and people are moving around for bigger paydays and bigger paychecks. Just an incredibly wholesome human being in Clayton Kershaw, being able to go out as a champion. Obviously, that's the storybook ending. So that was my absolute love from this weekend. And on the hate side, it's the injuries in the NFL. The ones that pop to my mind, just the big devastating injuries. Obviously, near and dear to my heart, Tucker Kraft having potentially an all-pro type of tight end year, tears his ACL, out for the year, and it's kind of midway through the season, so he'll probably miss the beginning of next year as well. Luckily, they do have a backup in Luke Musgrave, who was actually drafted ahead of him, who actually had a pretty nice day in his absence on Sunday. And then the other one, probably a little bit more widespread in the National Football League. And obviously, you have the quarterback position that has such a spotlight on it. And what we saw on Sunday Night Football with Jaden Daniels last night on Sunday night was terrible. Just the arm injury. I know it was his left arm, so that's a good thing. And luckily it's not his legs and it's not his throwing arm or his throwing hand or his shoulder or anything along those lines. But he's going to miss the remainder of the season with that gruesome injury, his elbow going the wrong way, obviously. And Cam Scatterbo, we've seen that before as well. So just the devastatingness of the injuries to really good players in the National Football League. And that sort of damages your product a little bit. Now you look at the Washington Commanders and you look at them completely different as they're led by Marcus Mariota. And Drew, well about Marcus Mariota there with that season or two in Atlanta. And that's not a great product to put out on the football field. And Chase knows about him as well, being a Titans fan. So it's just sort of hating that for the NFL, that now the Commanders are basically going to be rendered irrelevant. And the Packers offense, which already was sort of struggling with a lot of consistency, just lost their most consistent weapon. So that was my love and my hate from the weekend. Sorry, that was a little bit long-winded, fellas.
You're good. I'm glad the injuries thing, dude. It's tough, and it feels like it's been happening. I know we talked about it a few shows ago. The injuries in the NFL feels like it's been a lot of like big name players.
Yeah, catastrophic. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, they'll never do it. But the turf, it keeps claiming lives. I don't know if it's definitely not the main cause, but I would say it can't hurt to revisit the turf. I mean, actually, they have revisited the turf, and the owners have basically said no, it's too much to keep up the natural grass.
Well, the Packers
So
have the natural grass.
yeah, yeah,
It was just Tucker Kraft got hit in the knee in a weird way, and it just
yeah. Yeah, that seems to
just
happen to tight ends because you're taught to go low on these big guys. So you see like maybe 2 to 3 tight ends, maybe upwards of 5 that just kind of get their knees clipped by a safety or a linebacker coming in. It's unfortunate when you see it, but you know it when you see it. So yeah, you want me to go, Joseph? What do
Yeah,
you
go
think?
ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right.
I'll bring in the rear.
I think I'm gonna do something unprecedented here. My love really has nothing. Actually, I think Chase said his little girl turned 1, didn't he? Wasn't that his love one time?
He did.
Okay,
He did.
my love is ice cold beer in a glass mug at a crappy sports bar because that's where I was for the Vanderbilt game. I don't know if either of you two have been, but I went to Beef O'Brady's in Oodlewall, which I never go there. You can get a decent meal. It's kind of like Buffalo Wild Wings. It's a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit more of a cleaner image. And I forgot, man. You put a light beer, it doesn't matter what light beer it is, in a glass mug, and it's freezing cold, and it's above 50 degrees outside. Man, it was awesome. I mean, just put me in the right frame of mind. Watching that onside kick pinball off like 3 Vandy defenders, it didn't matter. I had my tall pint, and yeah, so that was good. And then my hate, probably Miami, being a what I thought would have been a sure thing this year in the ACC, completely just wrecking the conference, and for that matter, Georgia Tech too. I'm going to call it the ACC assassination that happened this week, because you have Syracuse, who gives Belichick his first conference win, which is just on the road too in the dome, ridiculous. Georgia Tech goes down to NC State. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think there was a little bit of uneasiness about the SMU game, but I don't think that there was any real takers out there for the Kevin Jennings is going to beat the crap out of Miami train. I think Pate mentioned it pretty specifically. Miami was in SMU territory 9 times, and they scored 20 total points.
Disgusting.
Yeah, and then you have the fall of a legend with Dabo Swinney. He's about done, man. 46 points to Duke. I know that's all Duke really does this year is score points. Like that's what they should be good at.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they are good at that, but that's in theory what Duke is good
If they're
at.
going to do something,
Yeah,
that's what they're gonna do.
So so the ACC assassination, I didn't love it because I think whatever ACC team comes out of the pack, they're gonna kind of be looked at as a joke now. So yeah.
All righty. Well, I'll follow us up. I love that because it's just inexcusable, by the way.
Yeah.
For Miami to just not be able to absolutely run that conference.
Mhm.
I don't know where Clemson goes from here. It might be good for them not to make a bowl game because if they somehow, I don't know, squeak into a bowl, finish the season with a winning record, I don't know. All I know is they play Florida State this weekend. That game's on the ACC network.
Saw that.
It should probably be on like Cartoon Network.
CW.
Like, I don't even know if it's good enough for the CW.
Oh, come on now.
They should put it on Turner Classic Movies because it's like, hey, these used to be really good football teams and they're not anymore.
Yeah. Maybe it can go. Maybe it can be a Fubo exclusive since you love them so much.
Oh God, don't even get me started, dude. Like Fubo. Anyways, my hate for the weekend, man. To kind of play off Greg's point is injury related, but it's a specific player. It's Dylan Raiola. I hate that Nebraska lost Dylan Raiola for the season because I don't want to say Nebraska's chalked, but it kind of feels like from what I've watched of Nebraska this season, if Dylan Raiola's not out there, if he's not playing, I don't feel good about them winning against like a 7th grade flag football team. And I don't mean that to take a shot at Nebraska, but it just feels like the most shining spot for Nebraska this season has been Dylan Raiola. And
so.
if he could just get some kind of help.
Yeah. And
it sucks because I think he was on his way to being a really good quarterback. It sucks that he's going to miss some time. but hopefully he gets back healthy just fine for year 3. I know he'll be out the rest of the season. And then my love was actually just the college football slate in general, because like you mentioned, Drew, this was probably the worst weekend for YouTube and Disney to decide to get into a contest.
There were games
this.
everywhere that were real, like even a game like West Virginia Houston, which was awesome,
incredible.
I think that was on Fox, but Fox affiliate.
It was on
but
Fox, but anyways, here's the main point: is like 8, 9, 10 all lost. 12, Notre Dame, like, I don't know if you watched the Boston College game. Notre Dame did not play well. They were kind of in a dogfight in that game for a little bit. Texas Tech was in a little bit of a dogfight with Kansas State at first. That's number 13. Number 14 goes down. 15, Virginia didn't exactly pull away from Cal. They ended up winning, yes, but it took them a little bit. Louisville didn't look their best against Virginia Tech. That's number 16. 17, Cincinnati lost. Like, close games with a lot of ranked teams. And I think it's just setting up for what's going to be a fantastic November in college
football. Too. And I think there were 2 SEC games that I don't think anybody expected to have to watch that turned out to be, depending on how you feel about either of these teams or either 4 of these teams. Mississippi State, Arkansas was really good. It was a good highlight watch for me when I went back and watched it.
Yeah.
And then Kentucky Auburn was pretty much the battle to see if Auburn could get Hugh Freeze kicked out of his standing tee time.
Yeah, and Mark Stoops prevailed in getting Hugh. And I don't think any Auburn fans are upset about it. I did watch that game. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of hate watched that game. Not hate watched, but I did have Kentucky money line. So
good bet.
That felt real good.
Good boy.
Yeah, it just I'm glad that experiment's over because it was not working. Hugh Freeze and Auburn. It was getting real toxic. It's, I don't know. It just bad hire. We'll see where Auburn goes. But boys, that leads us, as long as we're still on college football and talking about the slate and talking about a crazy November. Early in the season, we made our preseason predictions and we picked some conference championship games and we picked some conference championship winners. And I'd like to revisit that.
Oh, you have them?
No, I don't. I don't have our picks.
Oh, okay. Thank gosh.
I remember my picks off the top of my head.
I did too.
I do remember that me and you were on a certain pick for a certain conference that we'll get into in a second. But sorry, didn't mean to full screen you there, Greg. I wanted to revisit while we have a month left in college football, who we think or who we would take to play in a conference championship game and win the conference championships. So we're going to do this in order of easiest to hardest, or what I believe is easiest to hardest.
Is there?
Where we starting?
I didn't know
we're starting with the Big Ten, man.
Okay.
And I think this is just the reason we're starting with the Big Ten is because I think this is a layup. If you guys don't have any problems with it, I'm going to go first.
Sure.
I think your Big Ten matchup is Ohio State and Indiana. I don't see either one of these teams losing another game. Even if Ohio State does somehow manage to lose to Michigan, they'll still make the Big Ten title game and they'll play Indiana.
How does the tiebreaker work?
I think it's like head to head, and then it goes by common opponents.
Okay, because technically, if Michigan won out and Ohio State won out and lost to Michigan, they'd have the same conference record.
Would they really?
Yeah. Which let me read you Michigan's schedule. Michigan has
Michigan has Oklahoma.
Michigan has Northwestern, and they have Maryland left. That's it.
Those are wins.
Yeah, so they'd have one loss.
Those are wins.
And it's at Michigan. So
okay.
So that would be my only caveat to that.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. And because of that, Ryan Day, don't embarrass me. Please. Dog, it's been 4 years. You've had a better team damn near every year except for maybe like 2022. Just beat Michigan, dude. Just beat Michigan, okay? Just beat Michigan, and all this goes away. And I'm, because I still think they are the best team in the country right now. Ohio State is. So I'm going to ride with Ohio State to beat Indiana in the Big Ten and win the Big Ten.
All right. For reference, can I read you the teams with one conference loss in the Big Ten right now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll start at the top with the 2 teams who are undefeated in the Big Ten, undefeated overall for that matter. Indiana and Ohio State. Okay.
Yep.
9-0, 8-0. Then you have Michigan at 5-1, Oregon at 4-1, Iowa at 4-1, and USC at 4-1. I think anybody else behind them is done.
Oregon and Iowa play this weekend.
Yep.
So they're one of those teams is going to get eliminated.
Yep. And I believe Oregon and USC play each other as well.
They do.
Yep. and then anybody else behind them, like Minnesota's done. Like nobody with 2 conference losses is going to get it. I think you're right. Greg, are you going to pick anybody else besides Ohio State and Indiana? Because
I was just going to read the conference tiebreaker rules.
Okay.
So it starts with head to head. So you're right. If Michigan does go ahead and beat Ohio State and they have the same conference record, Michigan's going.
That would be the most.
Right.
awesome.
So, like, yes, I want to sit here and say, hey, number 1 versus number 2 in the country are going to end up facing each other. But as we've learned from the years where Ryan Day has been unsuccessful against Michigan, you certainly can't count them out. But you guys are right. Like, it's Ohio State, again, should win this game. They should have won this game multiple years over the last couple of years, and they've just failed to do so. So, as much as I just want to sit here and say, yeah, it's going to be Ohio State and Indiana, which it very well should be, you just can't count out the Wolverines in this type of matchup. Like, it's just one of those matchups, as we've talked about many times before on this show, on this platform, that, hey, you just throw the records out, and it really just depends on what happens on the football field that day.
Last year was a true like showing of that.
Yeah.
Like throw the records out because
Yeah.
Michigan couldn't complete a forward pass.
And we're
Ohio State
pitiful at
buzzsawed
just about
through
everything
the
else.
playoffs.
Yeah.
And like it's like this how?
And it was at Ohio
And it
State
was
too.
at Ohio.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, did you say, I'm sorry, what did you say? It was head-to-head matchups, and then what was the second one?
So it says college football conference tiebreakers are a multi-step process starting with head-to-head results if teams are tied. If that doesn't break the tie, the process moves to common conference opponents.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. I think, and don't quote me here, but I think if Michigan were to beat Ohio State, I don't know how this works because Ohio State won't get USC. Ohio State and Oregon don't play each other, and the only common opponent between Oregon and Michigan is USC, and they would both have 1 loss. And Ohio
so that takes care of itself, I think, because if Oregon beats USC and Michigan beats Ohio State, Michigan lost to USC.
Yeah.
But if
that's what I'm saying. Does Oregon get in that scenario?
Yeah, I think Oregon gets in that scenario.
So Michigan,
because Oregon would have they wouldn't have a head-to-head. They would not have a head-to-head versus Michigan, but they would have a win over a common opponent that Michigan did not beat.
That's what I thought.
USC.
Yeah.
So
so Oregon, it would be an Oregon-Indiana rematch is what we
probably.
That would be cool. I would love to see Indiana versus Ohio State or Indiana versus Oregon.
Yeah.
I'll pick that.
You'll pick that?
Yeah.
You think that's you think Michigan's going to beat Ohio State?
No,
again?
but I mean, just for the sake of parity, if you're going to go Ohio State, Indiana, sure, I'll pick Oregon, Indiana, because I mean, I'll be honest, Indiana,
it very well could happen.
Indiana,
but we could also see Oregon lose to Iowa this weekend.
Indiana's at Penn State. I know that it's not going to happen. It's fun to think. I think Indiana is about as sure a thing as it gets for a conference title game this year. I hate doing that because I know they could lose, but I feel like Indiana's already had those like tripping point games where they could have been tripped up already, and they passed with flying colors. I guess going to Happy Valley, that's tough. But I mean, what I saw out of Penn State, if Indiana is as good as advertised, they're not gonna have a problem with that Penn State team.
Okay. Are we ready for a world where Michigan loses to Maryland, beats Ohio State, Iowa beats Oregon, and it's Iowa, Indiana?
Yeah, that would be awful. Yeah, that would be I mean, talk about a CBS Sports executive worst night. I mean, somebody's getting fired over that game.
There's going to be a ref call that prevents. There's no way.
Flag on the play. Iowa Hawkeyes not allowed to go in 2025. Yeah, jeez.
They dig up some dirt on Kirk Ferentz.
Sure. Yeah, look at this. He
forfeited.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So, I'll take Oregon, Indiana. Greg, you going Indiana, Ohio State?
Yeah, I'll take Indiana, Ohio State. This is the year that Ryan Day slays that dragon in the big house and goes and wins it.
I'm good with that. All right, where are we going next, Joseph? Are we going? You said in order of ease.
In order of So how I feel is the easiest.
That's the Big 12.
No, I actually think. Because I think there's several teams in the Big 12 that are still alive, especially because the 2 top teams in the Big 12 right now, the 2 top teams in the Big 12, Texas Tech and BYU, they play this weekend. So one of them's catching a lot. If Texas Tech loses, then all of a sudden Houston's back alive. Cincinnati's only got one Big 12.
Yeah.
Like, the Big 12 was third. The
Okay.
SEC, for me, actually feels like it's
Hmm.
the second easiest. Now, I'm not, again, ranking these in terms of easiest to hardest. I don't think any of them are easy to predict. But in terms of just sheer amount of teams left alive, I felt like the Big Ten, there's less. The SEC, there's slightly less. There's slightly more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
so,
fair. In my
Go ahead.
mind, there's what, 5 teams left alive for the conference title bid?
technically,
I guess
Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss,
Georgia,
and
Ole Miss,
Texas is still alive.
Yeah, anybody with one loss or less, I think, is still alive. I will say, I'm not going to rule out that there's some just utter craziness down the stretch, because I think I think all of these teams that you just named can lose at least 2 games down the stretch, except for Texas A&M because of their schedule. I don't think Texas A&M is capable of losing 2 of their next 4.
So they have Missouri,
South Carolina,
South
at
Carolina.
home, Samford,
They have a Samford,
and
FCS school.
at Texas.
And so if they win, let's see, I think doing the math, if they make it to the Texas game and Texas has lost to Georgia at that point,
Yeah.
Texas A&M's not mathematically eliminated. Like, even if they lose to Texas, I still
Sure.
think they'll go.
Okay.
Depending on tiebreakers between them and if Georgia doesn't lose another game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Texas A&M is the only person that I feel confident on this list to be like, I think you'll be there. I do.
Mhm.
And then I think the rest of this just kind of comes down to schedule.
Mhm.
I don't know. If I had to take a schedule bet right now, I think I would put Ole Miss in.
Okay.
Wow.
Because
That is not who I thought you were going to go with.
Well,
Not
let me
where your head's at.
read you Ole
Yeah,
Miss's
yeah,
next
yeah,
4.
yeah.
It's South Carolina, or sorry, not South Carolina. Next 3. They just played South Carolina. It is the Citadel at home.
Yep.
Florida at home, which Florida already had their chance to do the new coach. We're still here.
Plus, Florida
Whoville
has
thing.
to play, I think, Tennessee before that.
Yeah. So I don't
Does
think
Ole Miss have a bye between Citadel and Florida?
no, they do not. They have a
don't?
bye
Okay.
between Florida State, between Florida and Mississippi State.
Oh, okay.
So and Mississippi, they're at Mississippi State, which
At 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Mississippi State has not looked
12 o'clock Eastern
horrific
time.
this year.
No.
And that would be a Lane Kiffin thing to do,
That-
is to maybe control your own destiny or win in you're in and lose to the rival in the Egg Bowl. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't know, because Georgia Tech just put themselves in the position to where they need that Georgia game for an at-large bid. You think they still get in 10-2?
Well, I think they have a chance to make the ACC title game still. So, like, in my head, until they mathematically are eliminated from making the ACC title game, I don't think they have to have the Georgia game.
Yeah.
Unless they get to a point where it's like, hey, we cannot make, like, if it gets to rivalry weekend and the ACC title game's set and Georgia Tech's out, they have to have the Georgia game.
Yeah.
But if not, if they're like, oh, hey, we can make the ACC title game if, like, Louisville or Virginia, or we'll get into the ACC later, somebody loses.
Whoever.
Yeah, whoever. Duke, because they beat Clemson and they're still alive.
Yeah.
Then I think they have to have the Georgia game at that point.
I understand that I'm skipping over Alabama here. I do get that. And I do think that LSU at Oklahoma, I think it's Eastern Illinois and Auburn.
They got Oklahoma at home.
Yeah, they're going.
Oh,
they've
yeah,
got
they do.
LSU at home, Oklahoma at home, and Eastern Illinois at home, and then they go to Auburn.
I figured everybody would pick Alabama, so I'm gonna go. I'll take Ole Miss.
I like it. I like the Ole Miss pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll look at common opponents while you guys pick.
Greg, you want to go? Or you want
I'm going to take Alabama, Georgia. I think
Oh.
Alabama's going to win out, and I believe Georgia's going to beat Texas at home. Going to Mississippi State, I know they haven't been great this year, but they've given some people some fits. But going there for a noon kickoff game at Eastern Standard Time, like, that doesn't really bother me too much. I know that game against Texas is going to be rowdy, but again, it's between the hedges, so I'm not really worried about that one. And then obviously Virginia Tech or Georgia Tech, what they were able to do last year in Haynes King and all that. But that one again is in Athens as well. So I'm going to take Georgia to win out, and I'm going to take Alabama to win out, and they'll they'll be the ones to meet in the conference championship game because Texas is going to beat Texas A&M this year.
So you have
so
you would have
Texas
Texas
beating Texas A&M.
Yeah,
because
if Georgia wins out, Texas beats Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I think the common opponent gives Georgia the nod.
Georgia the nod. I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at.
I think again, I don't know if the maths there, but I'm going to take Alabama and Georgia. Okay,
your maths as long as Texas beats Texas A&M. Now, if Texas A&M loses
to Missouri,
I still think Georgia didn't play Missouri.
No, Georgia didn't play Missouri and Texas, or not Texas.
I mean, if we're going off common opponents, Texas A&M played Florida and Mississippi State and Auburn.
Now that I look at this, I think
Georgia will have both played Texas.
Yeah,
Texas A&M and Georgia will. Yeah.
I mean, if Alabama wins out, they're in my mind they're in the best common opponent. They've played everybody that all these other teams either have not, like with Ole Miss so Alabama's played Georgia. And they've beaten Georgia, so right now they hold it over Ole Miss in my mind.
Yeah,
and then they have.
If Alabama wins out, they're in.
Yeah,
they're in. They're in, regardless.
Yeah,
they would have to lose to like Oklahoma to make it interesting.
Because Ole Miss beat Oklahoma.
Because if Alabama loses to Oklahoma, but then Texas beats Georgia, then it could be Texas.
Yeah,
and we could have back-to-back weeks of Texas A&M and Texas. If Texas A&M loses
the new Big 12 championship,
if Texas A&M loses to Texas at Texas, and then that's their only loss, and Texas, then you also have the Ole Miss factor. So Ole Miss factors in. It'd be a lot of tiebreakers going on there.
Well, Ole Miss's schedule kind of dances them around a lot of common opponents. Like them in Alabama, their only two common opponents are Georgia and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So big week upcoming for Bama here in 2 weeks, I believe. And then they don't play a lot of the same opponents that the Texas side of the bracket does. They're very far removed. So for them, good, actually good. I don't know. I'll be honest. This is probably going to go the simplest way you think and go Texas A&M, Alabama.
I mean,
but that would be the way. I bet the betting odds are set at that. But I'll be honest. It's been a weird college football year. I just wouldn't put any money down riding on riding on the favorites so far.
Yeah. No, I mean that is obviously the favorite, because if Texas A&M wins out and Alabama wins out, they're in. Everything else is just a moot point, because that eliminates Texas, that eliminates Georgia, and then Ole Miss would probably lose the tiebreaker to Alabama.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. I know it's kind of vanilla and kind of lame. Like my preseason prediction was Georgia, Alabama. I did not expect Texas A&M to be this good, and I do think they are. And even with Texas, I know we talked about it on the Instant Reaction show, starting to look better. They've kind of, in my opinion, snowballed a little bit. I still don't think they are. I think the result from Saturday could be a little misleading because of the sheer talent advantage they have against Vandy. And that's not me trying to say that Vandy's a bad team. I don't think
that's what I said on the Instant Reaction show.
Exactly.
Texas should have won that game.
Yeah.
And why I'm getting murdered on Twitter because I tweeted out that Sark should be fired for that.
Like for letting them come back into that game.
Oh, no, not for letting him come back, because that was, I'll be honest, that was kind of that's just kind of what Vanderbilt does. Like that's just part of the Diego Pavia experience. No, he should be fired for the Mississippi State and Kentucky catastrophes that have happened in back-to-back weeks before that game. I don't understand how you walk out on that field and you run out there with Texas's roster and you're like, okay, we'll win this one in overtime, score 16 points, and it's going to take a punt return in overtime to beat Mississippi State. That's why I said he should be fired. Not that he almost let Vandy come back, because, to be honest, that 2-point conversion was short of the goal line. I got eyes. I got eyes.
I can see.
Yeah, I know. Like they're talking about the refs keeping Vandy in it, and I'm sure the commissioner is sitting in his office right now and is like, you know who I want in there? The team with the smallest fan base. I want them in the SEC championship by a long shot. I want the team that would bring the fewest advertising dollars. That's what Greg Sankey is sitting there. He's just, yes, yeah, get out of here. Come on.
Yeah, so you're going with
A&M, Ole
A&M,
Miss.
Ole Miss.
Mhm.
You're going with Georgia, Alabama,
Yep.
and I'm going with A&M, Alabama. So, sensing a theme here, you're the only one that doesn't think Alabama's going to. Who do you think Alabama's going to lose to? That's what I'm really interested. You think they're going
LSU.
to lose? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
LSU
can't wait
hates.
to hear that.
It's simple. I don't think LSU's a better team. They haven't been all year. They've shown a sloppy product.
Mhm.
They've underperformed their roster. I think LSU probably hated Brian Kelly so bad that team is going to be so turned up to play Alabama. It's going to be like Forrest Gump when he learned to run for the first time, and those restraints break off his legs. Yeah, they break off his legs. It's going to be like, wow, we remember how to play football, and all of our talent remembers how to play football. I'm saying that's the path. I'm not saying they will beat Alabama, but if there were a team that was going to do it, it would be LSU on their schedule.
I'm with you, and I actually don't think that from a talent perspective their roster's that far behind. Nope. So like I don't think it's the craziest thing. Like really, it comes down to how high, like how juiced up is that team to play for this interim, and how well of a plan can this interim staff put a game plan together. Like I think that's really what you're. And of course, it's at Bryant-Denny, so that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. But I mean. Yeah, I just think that they're going to be like, we hated him so bad. Like every single I haven't seen one player that was like, man, coach,
I missed my guy.
Sorry to see Coach Kelly go. He believed in me.
That's tough, dude.
So yeah.
Okay, good to know. Okay, well let's move through these last two a little quick, just for the sake of time. So third was the Big 12. Because I thought it would be a little bit harder to pick than the SEC and the Big 10. Does anybody want to go first?
Not really, but I'll start talking.
Yeah.
So
just
I just yeah, sure.
I mean, really, our big three players here are like BYU, Cincinnati, and Texas Tech. I know Cincinnati just lost to Utah, but like,
yeah. Well, yeah, I think Utah's still in it.
I mean, there's a big game coming up this weekend with Texas Tech and BYU.
Yeah,
we'll learn a little something.
Definitely.
Well, the thing about that is, so they play this weekend.
Oh, and Texas Tech already beat Utah. Just kidding. I lied.
They did, but BYU also beat Utah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I forgot about that game.
Well, so here's the thing: if BYU catches an L to Texas Tech this week, they play Cincinnati in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but Utah already has 2 conference losses. No, I get what you're saying though. I think I don't know, dude. Cincinnati did exactly what I thought they would on the road this week. They can't throw the ball. Like they're such a one-dimensional team, and they got railroaded. And Devin Dempierre has been missing for Utah for like last week. He didn't play. So
yeah.
For me,
dude, you know what? I've got mine. If you want me to go,
yeah, go ahead.
Dude, I actually think it's going to be Texas Tech and Cincinnati.
Oh, Texas Tech and Cincinnati.
Texas Tech and Cincinnati in the Big 12 title game. Yeah. I don't like the BYU.
Cincinnati's going to find a way to beat BYU.
I do. Yeah, I do.
It's at Cincinnati.
And it is. That's the big kicker for me is that I think it's at Cincinnati. They're coming off of they'll play Texas Tech this week. Then they play TCU next week, who's also kind of TCU is not as good as I think people thought they were going to be. But they're also not as bad as people think.
I do remember mine.
And Josh Hoover can kind of get hot at times.
Yeah.
So I think having to play those 3 teams back to back to back could really make this Cincinnati BYU game really interesting. So I kind of like Cincinnati with an upset there. And I think they end out the season, end up playing Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game.
I'm trying to work up a doomsday scenario to get Houston in here. It's not going well.
I think your doomsday scenario is like, because dear God, dude, I don't know if Texas Tech beats BYU, I think they're in, because their last 2 games are UCF at home and on the road at West Virginia. Well, and West Virginia got their 1 this weekend against Houston.
Yeah.
So
I was at Houston too. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Give me BYU, Texas Tech.
I must say scratch.
Yeah. I remember who I picked for this conference, if you guys want to hear it.
I do remember mine as well. Go ahead.
TCU, Colorado.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
I think Colorado lost to Utah and Arizona by a combined like 114-20 or something.
Gosh.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
3 and
so-
6,
Come on,
3 and
Coach
6 overall, and they shut down player availability for interviews this week. First time ever in Coach Prime's tenure. They did not. I put Colorado in the college football playoff, and I had them winning the Big 12. So
I mean, dude, if as long as we're bringing it up, mine wasn't any better. I had Iowa State and Baylor.
a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I mean,
By
I had Iowa
record.
State. I guess like,
Oh man, I guess TCU's 6-2.
TCU's not bad.
No, they're not bad. They're not a bad
TCU
football
has a
team.
better record than both of my teams in the Big 12 title game.
Thanks for making me feel
Iowa
better.
State's like 5-4. Baylor's 4-5, I think, something like that. I don't know Baylor's record actually off the top of my head, but it's
They're
not
5-4. Yeah,
yeah, it's not good.
Iowa State's 5-4 as well.
Yeah, so you're at least close with TCU. That's something.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Greg, I know you didn't get to join in the fun picking the Big 12 preseason.
Yeah,
Trust me, you didn't.
I did
miss
not know
much.
that. I mean, shoot, it's really a crapshoot. I know a lot of people didn't really see Texas Tech doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And obviously we didn't know what Utah was going to be, and Houston kind of coming out of nowhere. I know there were the high expectations, like Joseph said, potentially for Baylor and Colorado. Yeah, it's really a crapshoot. We've known BYU has been good over the last couple of years, but yeah, I'm going to take BYU and Texas Tech at this point.
I'm with him.
They just
seem
like the best two teams.
I thought the Bachmeier thing would throw them off, or Retzloff transferring would really hurt them.
Too.
I thought I didn't think it would hurt them to like the extent where they would be an under 500 program. I just thought that they were going to be like a 6-2 program.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be like, we're still BYU. We still have a way we do things. Like this isn't going to hurt us this bad, but it'll hurt us enough this year to not be in contention.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought they'd be a little bit more one dimensional than they have been. Bear Bachmeier has been really good.
Yeah. Yes.
Excuse me. But I thought they'd be like somewhere like 8-4, 9-3. But they're shout to Kalani Sitake, dude.
Yeah. Oh, he's a very talented football coach, and I mean he coaches BYU, so he won't ever be on the national stage. Like he just won't ever be the star. It's just a byproduct of coaching at BYU.
Yeah.
But every time I tune into one of their games, which is rare, I'll be honest. I've watched one BYU game this year.
Every single time.
What?
I said every single time. I just watched one time.
I watched one time. I mean, that is every single time.
Well, that is every single. I'm talking about in past years, but yeah, I mean, I'll for sure be on the Texas Tech game. But yeah, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised by what I see. Like the BYU Arizona State game last year, awesome, great viewing experience. So,
well, gentlemen, there is one Power 4 conference left, and in my opinion, it was the hardest one to predict because by count here, there are 6 teams that I think are left alive to make it to the ACC title game. Count them: Virginia, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Louisville, SMU, and Duke. Let me read that again just in case you misheard me, okay? Virginia, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Louisville, SMU, and Duke all have one conference loss.
Are we sure Miami's like done?
I don't think Miami's done.
Let me see.
Because the rest of these teams, I think, still have some games against each other. But it's egregious that Miami's not like 4-0 in the conference. It's just egregious. So yeah, any thoughts, guys? Any do you have a leaning, an inkling? Do you do you have any remotely like
well, I would say
idea?
For me, I would say that, and I this is probably going to be wrong, but I would say I'm going to go ahead and say Virginia is going to be a lock to get to the conference title game. Just looking at the schedules and what everybody has left, I know they got to go to Duke, but you got Wake Forest and you've got Virginia Tech. I hope that they're able to take care of business against Wake Forest and Virginia Tech, and then they are the better. I believe they're the better team than Duke. They should win that game, even though it's at Duke. So yeah, I'll take Virginia as a team that I believe is going to get there. Now, everything else, I mean, shoot, Georgia Tech's got at Boston College, they blow against Pittsburgh.
That game right there, the Georgia Tech Pitt game is pivotal.
Yeah, it's huge because that's their last conference game. So like, if you're able to go to the Golden Eagles and beat them in Boston, and then you're able to take care of Pitt at home, and again, who cares what happens against Georgia? You would think that
Yeah,
they
it
should
doesn't-
be in the conference championship game against Virginia.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, Virginia's done again, when we went over trick or treat teams,
Yeah.
I was like, just look at Virginia's schedule. If you control your own destiny with that schedule, and all they have to do is play halfway decent, because although I think Virginia will be a double-digit underdog depending on who they play in the first round of the college football playoff if they make it there. Which no guarantee they make it there.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting thing. Would a one-loss Virginia team get an at? Oh my gosh,
would a one-loss Virginia team get an at-large bid? When did the loss happen?
It would be in the regular season in this scenario. So the conference
they
champion
lost
is
a non-conference game.
Yeah.
A
two
non-conference
NC
ACC
State.
game.
Yeah, I think they have to be. Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't mean to derail into that dark vortex of
no, dude. That's the thing is this whole prediction, this whole segment about the ACC is kind of a dark vortex of just like what the hell is going to happen, because like the Pitt Georgia Tech game is pivotal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
It's at Georgia Tech.
Pitt's schedule gets rough, dude. I mean, they play Notre Dame. That one doesn't count for our purposes here.
Yeah.
But then they play Georgia Tech and Miami back to back.
I would almost consider punting the Notre Dame game. I'm dead serious. I would almost consider like half trying.
Just pulling all your starters.
I mean, like if you get behind, like, all right, yeah, everybody that's essential is coming off the field, because it doesn't matter. Because
I don't think you go into that game trying to lose, but you're right. If you do find yourself in any sort of sizable deficit, like, hey, like let's just call off the dogs and like let's get ready for the games that actually matter.
Yeah. like what? Because they're not going to get in that large bid with 2 losses already. So
no,
like they wouldn't.
They have to win the ACC.
Yeah, they have to win the ACC. So why? Like if you run out there and they go up 10-0, I'd be like, all right, cool. Yeah, we're like
interesting.
No coach would ever do that, because it sends a terrible message to your team. And I understand that football has to be played on the field, and it's not just like loading up the PS5 and
no. But I understand where your head's at with like, hey, this isn't a conference game.
So
like,
I think Pitt has looked the best since they put Heinschel in. I think that's his name. I mispronounce it all the time. But they have a true freshman quarterback. And it is Heinschel. I think since they replaced him for Holstein, I think Pittsburgh has legitimately looked the best out of any team that we've just talked about. Man, I don't know. Because there's so many tiebreakers at play here, and I want to go ahead and throw this out here that I think Duke and SMU should be like auto disqualified from this for how bad that both of their teams have looked respectively this year in their non-conference games. But hey, again, that's why games are played on the field. They've done what they're supposed to. One conference loss. Man, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
You want me to give you mine?
No, I want to take Georgia Tech Miami.
Oh,
trying to find a way to get Miami in there.
Yeah, I want to take Georgia Tech Miami because that's what it should be. But
that means that Virginia would have to lose 2 of the 3 between Wake Forest, Duke, and Virginia Tech.
I understand that.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible.
I think it's feasible with the way Virginia's looked this year.
The way the ACC's looked this year, it's anybody could literally beat anybody.
And then all Georgia Tech's got to do is win at Boston College, who's 1-8 or 1-7 or whatever they are, and then they got to beat Pittsburgh. So, and then Louisville has to lose a game, I believe. But
Louisville would have to lose to oh dang it, I just had it pulled up. Sorry. They play SMU.
Yeah, the main problem with Miami is SMU. Yeah,
and Cal. So Louisville's they've got Cal at home. Then they've got a Friday game against Clemson.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on the fact that that's a Friday game.
Yeah.
And then they go to SMU that next week with an extra day of rest. And then if by that point, their last game's against Kentucky, so that won't. All
right, screw it. Respect. Georgia Tech, Miami. That's my pick.
I love it. Greg, you want me to go?
I mean, I'm going Georgia Tech, Virginia.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna take those 2.
I'm in the same vein. I like Virginia, but I'm gonna go Virginia Louisville, because I think it'll be the most ACC thing ever for Pitt to beat Georgia Tech, be in the driver's seat, and then lose to Miami.
Sure,
that just sounds like the most Pitt thing Miami thing ever.
And when I say Pitt's look good, I mean they've looked good.
Relative to Pitt standards.
Well, yeah, they've looked good relative to Pitt standards, but they put like 3 consistent performances in a row together, which has been good for ACC standards this year. So
yeah, I think Virginia beats Duke, that eliminates Duke. I think Louisville beats SMU, that eliminates SMU. And then I just would find it so hilarious that Pitt beat Georgia Tech and then loses to Miami.
yeah,
Like, it just feels like the most ACC.
yeah, I think you're probably spot on there. That actually sounds exactly what's going to happen. Yeah,
Louisville, Virginia.
yeah, good call,
So
Joseph.
we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any final thoughts on conference championship games and winners?
Lots of G5 fun left to go.
Yeah, there is.
Memphis, I think Memphis controls their own destiny, but there's if they don't, North Texas and James Madison are right there. They're ready to go.
Memphis still got to play Tulane. I know Tulane got blew out by UTSA, and like, I'm just saying. Listen, my dream isn't dead yet, dude. My Tulane dream's not dead yet. I won't let it die. It's kind of dead.
It's kind of dead.
It's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, you can always count on Tulane for 9+ conference or 9+ wins, but
and just when you think you got it all figured out, that's when we get to November and you realize I don't know anything about the sport. So
yeah, and college basketball starts and you really don't know anything about the sport.
Yeah.
You think you don't know anything about college football? Wait till college basketball, man.
Yeah. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
You need to get Chase back in here.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, with closing a book on college football for the episode, I wanted to ask you guys, and I apologize, but I wanted to ask you guys about some pain. Okay. The Chatt It Up as a podcast did not fare well over the NFL weekend. We already know the status of Chase and his team. We're not going to rehash that. Sorry, Chase. We understand the Titans are what they are.
Dead.
But yeah. Well, they're trotting 11 guys out there in blue jerseys. Yeah. So they're, whatever you want to call that. But gentlemen, the Falcons and the Packers, and whoever wants to start first can take it and rant about their team for as long as you want. The Falcons and the Packers, what happened?
Do you want me to go? Mine will be quick.
Ahead. Go ahead, Drew.
Okay. I mean, they should have expected to lose this game. The Patriots are pretty good. They're not a horrible team. No, I'll tell you what happened. We cut Younghoe Koo, and Younghoe Koo has delivered classic Falcons moments throughout the years as we watched, and no matter who was behind center, whether it was Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota, that weird stretch where we threw in Taylor Heineke, or whether it was Penix or the $40 million man himself, all Atlanta Falcons games, if they're not getting blown out, always come down to the last possession. And we should have known that John Parker Romo, the guy that we cut Younghoe Koo for, was going to march out there and miss that extra point when we have a chance to beat an actually good AFC opponent. We should have known that Michael Penix and Drake London are going to have their best game together collectively that they've ever had. I don't know. Joseph talks about pain, dude. I mean, pain went out the window a long time ago. I got told on Twitter a couple times today that my mom definitely took Tylenol. I'm starting to believe that's probably true with my choice of NFL fandom. I don't know, dude. Whatever. Like, it's a stupid franchise. They traded a first-round pick for James Pierce Jr. He was good one game this year, and I don't know. It's the Falcons that we do this every year. They'll probably still end up at 8-9. I think we're 3-6, right? I don't even know what our record is. I'll be honest. I turn the game off most weeks, but let's see. What are we? 3-5? 3-5. Okay, yeah, we'll end up at 8-9. We'll steal a Bucs game and we'll beat the Panthers into oblivion because they're they have some hope. So the football gods need to take that away from the Panthers. We all know how they feel about the NFC South. Heck, we still might be in play for the division. The Buccaneers are dead. The Panthers are the leader, and the Saints, goodness gracious, they're throwing Tyler Shuck out there. Man, I could have told you that was a bad idea, and I didn't even watch him play in college. We're in a joke division with a joke front office, and now we have a joke kicker again, and we had a cool kicker, and now he's gone, and he was the one thing I liked about the team. So there's no pain. It's just this is what it is on Sundays for me. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, yes, in its totality, it's painful as a Falcons fan. But it's been painful for a while. You haven't had what? You haven't made the playoffs since what? 2017.
Probably, that sounds right. I mean,
I think
whatever year, I think either 2019 or 2020 was Ryan's last year, so it was 2 or 3 years before that. So, yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty
probably
pretty
about that.
sure it was 2017. It's just absolutely horrific for the Falcons. They should be better. They have the talent to be better, but they just don't put it all together on the field. As you mentioned, the special teams, the kicking. To me, kind of transitioning over to the Packers, and I've said this since I was on Sports Talk Radio in Lafayette, Louisiana, covering the New Orleans Saints, that one of the most underrated positions that you can pay if you have a reliable one of them is a place kicker. It is hard to find a reliable place kicker in the National Football League. And this is coming from somebody who had Mason Crosby for what felt like 25 years sitting there making big kick after big kick after big kick. Now we're struggling as a franchise to do anything from a special team standpoint. Our coverage units aren't very good, return units aren't very good, and the kicking game outside of Brandon McManus last year, he's dealt with some injuries. Lucas Haversick came in here and was awesome for like 2 or 3 games. McManus realized, oh shit, I'm losing my job potentially to this youngster. I got to get back. He pushed himself. He's been missing field goals and kicks and things like that too. So that has been kind of on my mind as well from that standpoint. But this Green Bay Packers team, we've seen it. They make the move for Micah Parsons. They solidify their pass rush. You knew coming into the season that their secondary was very, very sketchy, to say the least. The safeties are awesome. Love Evan Williams. Shout out, cheers. And you love Xavier McKinney. But outside that, at cornerback, you don't have somebody who can truly play the outside like you had Jair Alexander for the last couple of years, being able to play the outside. You've got a lot of guys that can play the slot cornerback, and that's not good because it doesn't translate to the outside. And so that's been a big issue. Another big issue is obviously we talked about it to kick off the show, but Tucker Kraft, your leading receiver, has now just been lost for the entirety of the season. And while I do believe that Luke Musgrave is capable of doing some of the things that Tucker Kraft was able to do, you have to see it first. He's a guy who's a second-round pick drafted ahead of, again, Tucker Kraft. But that loss is just massive, what Tuck can do. And Musgrave will have an opportunity to go do that and to sort of slot into that role. He's dealt with injuries to kind of begin his NFL career. So this is going to be a big opportunity for him. I don't believe that the Packers at the trade deadline need to go out and get a tight end. I just saw something pop up on my phone that says, hey, they should go get David Njoku. No, what the Packers need outside of cornerback help, which I don't believe they're going to find before the deadline on Tuesday when you're listening to this, they need help at the wide receiver position, because this experiment without having a number one, having a bunch of 2s and 3s is not working. It's simply not working. Jordan Love making terrible decisions, trying to throw into triple coverage on multiple occasions. I know they brought back Christian Watson, who came back from a torn ACL, but they fail to have a true number one wide receiver. And you look at all of those good teams with a good quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. You've got Jordy Nelson. You've got Randall Cobb. You've got Devontae Adams. You've got James Jones, who was even pretty good there. You have the good tight end with Jermichael Finley back in the day, Donald Driver, Greg Jennings. Like, you can talk about all of these things from an offensive standpoint. The Packers don't have anybody in the same area code as any of the guys that I just threw out there. The Packers wide receivers at this point are an absolute liability. Jordan Love's got nobody to lean on, and no wonder Josh Jacobs is hurt, because they're having to lean on him so heavily. And even Emmanuel Wilson has actually run the football pretty well. And you look it up, Josh Jacobs is their 4th leading receiver at this point. And he's not even a guy that caught a touchdown pass in the National Football League till like a year or so ago when he first joined the Green Bay Packers last season. So the wide receiver position, again, has been an absolute liability, and they continue to just disappoint you by playing down to their competition. Now, I'm really curious to see how they play against the Eagles this week. Obviously, coming off the big win and the emotional win, I could see it being the ultimate trap game. You're 2 touchdown favorites against the Carolina Panthers. You go out there and lay an egg at home. That is the one thing that I just can't get past, is that they laid an egg not in Carolina. They laid an absolute egg at home. That's disheartening. You got there and lay an egg in Cleveland. Okay, it's on the road. Terrific defense. Jeff Schwartz, the whole thing. Myles Garrett, triple double teamed, the whole thing. But you lost that game to the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Midget Young at home.
Hey, whoa.
Bri-
Not my boy
Bryce is
Bryce. No.
catching a stray here, dog. Hang
No.
on.
No, I may be a Falcons fan, but one thing we do not do is take shots at Bryce Young, the best
Why?
college quarterback ever. No.
I don't know
The
about
best
ever.
college
He was
quarterback
really
ever.
good.
Stop
Huh?
it.
He's not the best college quarterback ever, but he was
No
he was really good at Alabama.
Well, he's
Bryce
not
Young is
really good in the National Football League. And this is not college football. This is the National Football League. He has
He's
not
over
been very
500.
good at the NFL level. That's what I'm saying. You can't lose a game at home to that guy and this team with a beaten up offensive line. Micah Parsons can't get a damn pressure in this game. It was horrific. Now, again, ultimate draft game because you've got the Eagles coming up this week, which will be a nationally televised game. So that's going to be exciting in itself. Hopefully they get up for that game. It seems like they get up for the big games and they play down to their competition. Good teams beat the teams they're supposed to and compete with the teams that are really good around the league. So at this point, to me, the Packers aren't Super Bowl contenders until you show me more consistency, and especially on the offensive side of the football with the passing game. And I know Jordan had a good game against the beaten and battered and bruised and the highest paid defense in the Steelers 2 weeks ago. But when you can't go out there and do it against the Carolina Panthers at home, that's an absolute problem. And you just lost your best offensive weapon in terms of a pass catcher in Tucker Kraft. It's not great for the Green Bay Packers at this point. I know they're still kind of one of the upper echelon teams in the National Football League, but to me, they are not going to win a Super Bowl the way that they're currently constructed.
I think that's
my offensive rookie of the year for Matthew Golden's looking
that was tough. They were
rough. It was a stretch.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to believe those camp things are like he's a wide receiver one, and then they don't actually show you any evidence of that happening.
Yeah.
I was like, can we see him do it before I throw hard-earned American money on it?
Yeah,
But
I mean, there was a reason it was going off at like plus 2,200. I understood what I did when I walked into that plank of wood.
we all have some futures. Speaking
of
of that,
still holding the Joe Burrow MVP future.
everything that Greg just said is why I cash my Packers futures. That he hit it spot on. I'm not a fan of this team. I don't claim that I watch this team a lot, but every time I do, they've had a lot of national television games this year. Every time I do tune in, it's the same story. It's because say what you want about the Cincinnati Bengals right now, but when they need Jamar Chase or T. Higgins to be their like 12 catches, over 100 yards guy, and that's going to be the offense for today, and that's how we're going to stay in this ball game. That's what the Cincinnati Bengals do. Or when the Vikings need Justin Jefferson to just be open the entire game, then that's what Justin Jefferson does.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's like, okay, we've got the Romeo Dobbs. We've got this guy. He can, and I know, I'm sorry, Jaden Reed is out for, I don't know how long he's out for, but I know he's been out for a while. We've got this guy. And yeah, you can get a 5 for 78 performance out of Romeo Dobbs with a touchdown maybe, and that's great. Maybe you can get that once every 6 weeks or once every 5 weeks. And I think that is wherein lies the problem, what you were talking about. I just don't know who to trust. They're like the hardest team to bet on because, I mean, Malik Heath can pull one down when the Packers play. And you're not surprised compared to if it was Jaden Reed or if it was Romeo Dobbs or now with Christian Watson. I think he looked probably, correct me if I'm wrong here, Greg, he probably looked closer to a true number one when he was healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the size that Matt LaFleur's talked about. Like he looks like he's been built in a lab and the whole thing. And yeah, when you do have a guy like Jaden Reed who can be a little bit more gadgety for you, and you have a Tucker Kraft, if you have all of these pieces, you can get by. But now that we've lost Jaden Reed and you've lost Tucker Kraft, it's okay. Matthew Golden got banged up in this game against Carolina. It's like, okay, where do we go now? Because it seems like Devontae Adams would have been the perfect offseason signing. Bring this dude back home to Green Bay. Let him be the number one for a year or two, kind of mentor these young guys through it and kind of give him some of, allow some of his experience to sort of hopefully rub off on these guys. But again, you're sort of throwing all of these young receivers in the room together. And it's like, okay, well, we're just trying to figure it out right now. Like we don't have somebody to learn from and whatnot. So we don't have somebody that, we can, see day in and day out how they go about their business. They're kind of just like making it up as they go along. And, look, I think they have a lot of talent, But again, they're not that true blue number one. They're not that T. Higgins or Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Like, they have missed on these wide receivers. They tried to bargain shop on wide receivers because, look, they were able to do it with Donald Driver back in the day. They were able to do it with Greg Jennings back in the day. So, okay, Jordan Nelson and Randall Cobb and James Jones. Okay, we've been able to do this in the past, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to continue to replicate that type of or level of success. And they're trying to bargain shop. And then the one time they go out there and they pay a premium for a wide receiver, as you guys were talking about with Matthew Golden, it was like, okay, you're telling us he's a number one, but as you said, guys, like, where's the evidence? Like, he's a smaller dude. Like, he's not a boundary type of receiver. He's not a guy that's going to go up for jump balls and make big catches and moss anybody. It just seems like a miss at this point. And he's super quick and athletic and whatnot, and he might end up being a good wide receiver in the National Football League, but there's no evidence that's been put out there that says, hey, he's as good as some of the best in the game and that he is going to have that trajectory. And again, you can clip this and I may be absolutely wrong and maybe he'll turn it on. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for at this point. But
Sure.
yeah, they've swung and missed at receiver.
It's only his rookie year too. There's a lot of growth to be had. And, maybe I think part of it is when players go through these rookie years, a lot of it is the coaching staff needs to figure out how to use them. And when I've watched the Packers this year, I thought Matthew Golden was just a little bit out of place from where some of these routes that he's been tasked with running. And maybe they'll figure out that Matthew Golden is not a number one, but we can, with his physical gifts and his speed and his ability to get open, like, we can figure out things for him to do, even if it's not in a traditional number one role. But Greg, you're in a much better place, buddy. I promise you, with your team in mind. Yeah. I mean, they have legitimate aspirations. I think the Packers are going to be just fine. I think that's a good transition, Joseph. If you want to get to our last segment of the episode of the we're just picking. Are we picking Super Bowl?
Yeah, no.
Super
Bowl
Bowl
that was my. You guys brought it up, and I'm glad you said it because we talked about conference championship games in college football, and I figured, we've just passed the halfway point at the NFL. A lot of teams have had changes with injuries and how they looked at the start of the season versus how they look now, and so I just wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts on who you would take to win the NFC and the AFC, and who you think is your Super Bowl favorite right now.
Sure. Okay. I'm still going to stick with the Colts in the AFC. And I get that they don't have Josh Allen, and I get that they still have Danny Dimes. I understand that. I get that. But the Colts have looked so solid all year, and they really can do it on both sides of the ball. And they have the run game with Jonathan Taylor, and they have the offensive line to sustain that run game. And I think when we get to the playoffs, in the NFL playoffs, time and time again, it's not the pass. When you got to fall back and it's 20 degrees outside, I know the Colts play inside, but when it's 20 degrees outside and you're on the road, you're not throwing the ball 100, you're not throwing the ball 40 times with Danny Dimes. You're relying on the run game, and you're supplementing your pass game with the weapons that the Colts do have available. And they've also got this Tyler Warren guy. I thought him coming to the National Football League, his gadget, line him up wherever would kind of go away. But no, they use him that way. They use Tyler Warren to where he can take it right up the middle, a direct snap on the goal line. I know they lost to the Steelers. I'll be honest, it's kind of Mike Tomlin classic to win a game like that after you drop two straight, after you lose to two of the worst teams on your schedule. So I'll take the Colts in the AFC. Greg, who have you got for the AFC?
So when it comes to the AFC, that game against the Kansas City Chiefs showed me a lot for the Buffalo Bills and what they were able to do. And you talk about running the football, and that's exactly what the Bills can do as well. A lot of people were talking about James Cook and, oh my God, he had so many touchdowns last year. Is he going to be able to follow that up? He's been awesome for this offense. And I've said it for a long time with the Bills. If Josh Allen just does not play hero ball and they allow him to, utilize the running game, use some of the weapons that they have. And again, I know they don't have a Stephon Diggs and they don't have incredible weapons around him, but the tight ends are really good. Shakir's solid. Keon Coleman, he's kind of like boom or bust. You just don't know what you're going to get from him. But Josh Allen is a weapon within itself. And that's what it makes, that team a little bit different than where the Packers are without their weapons as well, with just, Josh Jacobs as the running back. So to me, the way the Bills showed up and showed out against the Kansas City Chiefs, and again, I know it's just a regular season. They have to do it in the postseason, the whole thing. But for me, I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills because they've shown me a lot this year in the AFC. The defense is starting to play better, hopefully going to get healthier as the year goes on. I know they've been missing a couple of pieces, but what they were able to do, and I get it. I know they lost at the Falcons. I know they've lost to the Patriots in close games, but coming back and demolishing the Panthers in Carolina and then taking care of business at home against the Chiefs, I got to go with the Buffalo Bills.
All right, Drew, that leads us into our NFC picks.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Okay. I'll take Seattle. I think Seattle sits at 6-2. They just absolutely walloped the Commanders on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. I'm not going to give them their flowers for really doing that because I think the Commanders are actually pretty pathetic this year. And I don't know if the Commanders were especially good last year. The fourth down conversion percentage was incredible. They had the story with Jaden Daniels, but it was time to come down to earth. I'll be honest. This Seattle team has the best defense I've seen all year. I mean, it's not very close. Their defense is impressive. They have a defensive-minded head coach, and Sam Darnold just keeps answering the bell. So they keep raising the stakes for him. Sam Darnold keeps on marching right up to the podium and putting on the gold medal. So I think the Seahawks are just pound for pound. If they get anything from the run game, they're the best team in the NFC by far, and they're doing it like they've got JSN, but they're doing it with a rookie receiver and AJ Barner and Aurora at tight end on the offensive side of the ball. I think this team continues to get better, and I think they are getting better. I think they were shaky to start the season, and they really took some dumb losses. I think there's a case for them to be 7-1, 8-0 right now, really easily. I guess the only thing against the Seahawks would be that they do have Sam Darnold as a quarterback, and if you don't believe in him, then if you think he gets to the playoffs and it gets late in the season and he does what he did last year for the Vikings, then sure, yeah, I'm with you. I'm not going to tell anybody they're wrong for thinking that until I see it. But I mean, I look at the NFC right now, and so you're asking me to pick what? You want me to pick the Eagles? I don't really want to. I'm good. Everybody seems really mad even when they win a game. I mean, the Buccaneers are basically like they're trotting corpses out there at receivers. They're pulling Pirates out of the stands to get it done. And then you have Greg's team who just I don't know what they are. They keep like, all right, well,
it's like
now
you
we're
want to
lose.
believe in them, and then it's like they do something stupid.
Yeah, like watch this. We're gonna lose to the Browns real quick. Like I don't know. I mean, and then you get on down the board. The Lions lose at home to the JJ McCarthy Vikings, and then I guess you want to believe in the 49ers, the Mac Jones 49ers. Like, okay, have fun. I mean, and if you're a Caleb Williams believer, good for you. I hope you enjoy the Kool-Aid that he spewed out there after watching that Bengals defense. So I'll take the Seahawks.
Yeah, look, the Seattle Seahawks are an exciting team. Drew, you hit it right in the head with their defense. It's been really fun, and they have a lot of weapons with the ones that you just mentioned, and then obviously the running back room with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are really good as well. And that defense is fun to watch. It kind of gives you not quite the same feeling as Legion of Boom, but they're sort of a quieter Boom. They're not quite the Boom. They're just sort of like the silent assassin. Like not a lot of people are talking about them.
Sure.
They just show up week in and week out and play really well. So I like the Seahawks a lot, but exactly what you said about that team is what scares me is that Sam Darnold looks real good in the regular season. The bright lights turn on where, we go to the postseason and he lays an egg like he did with the Vikings last year, but still really happy for Sam Darnold and what he's done. But I'm going to take a team in the same division that's actually allowed less points per game than the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. And I get it. Puka Nacua is a China doll. Basically, he's kind of banged up every single week, but they have Devontae Adams there, as I mentioned, before I was hoping he would go back to the Packers, but he went there. Matthew Stafford is sort of turning back the clock and putting everybody worrying about his back problems and his back issues on the back burner because he leads the NFL currently in touchdown passes. Kyron Williams is there. Blake Corum has looked explosive when he's got opportunities. The defense, as I just mentioned, has showed up. in a lot of ways for this team as well. They've been able to rush the passer. They've been able to stop people through the air. So the Rams, to me, I'll take them right now as my favorite to come out of the NFC. Just because, as you alluded to with the Eagles, it just seems like everybody's upset. AJ Brown is cryptically tweeting all of the time. He's missing games. I don't know what's going to happen there. Pretty solid run game with obviously with Saquon, but things just seem a little disjointed with Eagles. And it seems like if they don't win, things are just going to implode there. Like, it's just like, damn, like, I like Jalen Hurts, but the way AJ Brown is and how volatile he can be, it just like seems like things are about to implode. So I like the Seattle Seahawks pick, but I'm going to go with the Rams. That one's for you, Dad, because he's a big Rams fan as well. Shout out to Ray.
Yeah. Started as a St. Louis guy, did he?
He did, yes. He did.
Man.
But growing up, the only thing he taught me about football, and this is why I'm a Packers fan. I don't know if you know the story, Drew. I'm sure I've shared it with you, Joseph, on shows before. But the reason why I'm a Packers fan is because growing up, my dad wasn't a huge football guy. He's not a big football fan or anything like that. But growing up in the 90s, the one thing he taught me about football was to dislike America's team and the Dallas Cowboys. They were always winning when I was growing up, and we'd be hanging out, while I was getting ready for work, and he'd be telling me about the Cowboys and Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and how they were always winning and this, that, and the other thing. So basically, since that time, they have not made it even to an NFC championship game. So that was my education on football, was to dislike the Cowboys growing up. And then one of my best friends in elementary school, like kindergarten, first grade, was a Dolphins fan. And it was like, oh, cool. Like Dan Marino, they got cool colors, whatever, a Dolphins, cool. And then he moved to a different town, and I moved across town. And my best friend in second grade, who was still a really good friend of mine, he was a big Packers fan along with his dad. So I fell in love with Brett Favre and Reggie White, Antonio Freeman, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome. I became a Falcons fan because my dad told me it was cool. I didn't know what he was setting me up for. So
pain.
A lot of heartbreak and failure.
Yeah.
Pain. Yep.
Probably if I'd grown up in the 90s, I probably would have experienced more. But luckily, he spared having kids till the 2000s. So thank goodness. Oh, man.
Boys,
yeah, I don't want to end it on that note.
No,
bring some better vibes.
There is one last thing. I mean, I did ask about a Super Bowl. So you guys picked your Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Who's your Super Bowl winner?
I just realized I put Sam Darnold and Danny Dimes in the Super Bowl.
I mean, I just wanted to let you let you cook, dog. Like you did that.
Yeah,
so that would be an insane Super Bowl. Two former New York quarterbacks meeting in the Super Bowl. That would, New York would be set on fire. That would be insane.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There's absolutely no way that happens. I
can't wait to watch it when it does.
I mean, just based on the quarterbacks alone, like you see at least one where you would consider elite quarterback. My only thing with Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold a guy that just learns from his mistakes and gets better every year? Because he flames out, he keeps flaming out, and he gets to the 49ers and he kind of shows something for 2 games, and everybody's like, but that's late. That's Shanahan. He can turn whoever. So then he goes to another quarterback whisperer in Minnesota, and they say he can do anything with any quarterback. And they're like, oh, look, he flamed out in the playoffs. Well, now that he's got that experience under his belt, this year, he's like, all right, I'm not going to do that again. Like, Sam Darnold has progressed every year since he actually almost flamed out of the league and became a backup. So that's my only question. Seahawks, Colts, give me the Seahawks. It's going back to Seattle.
I'm going to say this is the year that Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl. I'll take Josh Allen and the Bills.
Big fan, and probably what's more likely to happen. Don't go gamble on the Seahawks Colts if you guys are.
Oh no, this is not gambling. I was going to say this is not gambling advice for me. This is just me picking.
Yeah, no, I was literally loading up FanDuel to place my future on Colts Seahawks Super Bowl. I'd be curious to know what the odds are.
It'd be a fun one. Here, I'll throw the show off on it.
Yeah, throw the show off on it.
I've got the odds for you. I've got the odds for you Super Bowl wise.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Exact
I have
matchup.
Pulled up. So Super Bowl.
That exact matchup, or just them to win?
Yeah, well, not the exact matchup, but I have them to Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
Seattle is plus 1,300, and the Colts are.
I got it.
Where are they?
Go ahead.
Oh, the Colts are plus 1,200.
1,300 and 1,200. So the
it's,
exact matchup's probably like what, plus 3,400?
3,500 plus 3,500
Hey.
for the Seahawks and the Colts to make it. You know, that's just name the finalists. You can pick you can pick a bunch of different futures. I will say the Seahawks do come in the plus in the top 10. So I don't know, man. It's out there.
It's kind of crazy that the Kansas City Chiefs are the Super Bowl favorites right now, betting wise, and conference favorites after they just lost to the Bills.
Hear me out on this, okay? And I know this is a stretch. Where are the Ravens? Because they're still favored to win
their
division.
Are
the
they?
Ravens to win the conference are plus 900. You want the division?
I know they're favored to win the division. They were. After they beat the Dolphins, they were still favored to win the division now that Lamar's back.
They are favored to win the division still. And to win the conference, like I said, plus 900, and
so
to win the
Super
Super Bowl,
plus 1,700, something like that.
No,
16. Very good.
Wow.
16.
Wow. That's the odds you're getting?
Yeah. I mean,
man, that's not bad.
Lamar's back.
I'd take that over the matchup I just proposed. I'd take that.
Take the Ravens.
Yeah,
but definitely. I mean that entails that the Ravens probably have to beat some combination of one if not both of the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah.
So, and I could see if the Ravens get back to full strength late in the season, beating one of those teams. I don't know how I feel about them beating both of those teams.
Yeah, I don't know if they could be either. Their defense is bad, dude, and it was bad. I know they need to get back to full strength, but it was bad long before Lamar went out. Like, they may just be a flawed defensive roster this year. So, yeah, but I think that's it.
Yeah,
hour 20.
That's a hour 20 and a fresh episode 160. I appreciate you, boys. It's a good episode tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate you always. If you choose to watch Chatt It Up Sports, if you stayed this long, please do us a favor. Follow us on all social media. If you've watched this on another platform, do us another favor, small favor. Jump right over to YouTube. Throw a subscribe on there. It helps us out a ton. It won't sign you up for anything. You won't be bombarded with emails. It helps us out from an analytics perspective, and we really appreciate it. For myself, for Greg, and the boy Drew, we will see you guys on Thursday for the Core 4 picks. Have a wonderful Tuesday.